The Smoky Hill Museum had done exhibits on the 1950s, but it was during COVID. And so it did not get a lot of exposure or visitors during that time just because of the pandemic. So we decided to take a look again at our two exhibits on the 1950s and do a traveling exhibit that we could then travel around the state. We chose the 1950s because it's an iconic era and people look back at it fondly, but we also realize that there's a lot more to the 1950s than just sock hops, Leave It to Beaver, and great cars. Underneath that wonderful American dream that was going on, there were tensions in the family as fathers were expected to do more with the household and parenting. Women who had been working in the 1940s were back home. Some were not happy about that. There was the Red Scare with McCarthyism. We were back at war with the Korean War, and of course civil rights was an undercurrent that went through all of the 1950s and into the 60s. Well, we take a look at the 50s, both the good and the bad. So there's a lot of stuff that people are going to remember, like our toys that were very popular in the 1950s, to some of the rock and roll items as well. But there's also a recreation of a bomb shelter. That gives us an immersive feel in this exhibit, even though it's a traveling one. People can pretend what it's like to be in a bomb shelter with the threat of nuclear war hanging over their heads. If you take a look back at the 50s, you'll see a lot of similar undercurrents that are happening right now. There's all-Americanism, consumerism, wanting to be better than your neighbors, keeping up with the Joneses mentality is still very popular nowadays, as well as tensions that are happening under the currents as well with wars in faraway lands, political turmoil. So there's a lot of correlations that you can draw while looking at the 1950s. One cool takeaway we have in the exhibit, though, is 1950s slanguage sheet that you can take and learn some of the hip language that was being spoken in the 1950s. We also have an activity booklet for kids that they can look at and even take home and do some of the various activities on the 1950s. This exhibit will be on display at the Smoky Hill Museum until February 21st. The museum is located at 211 West Iron in downtown Salina, and our hours are Tuesday through Fridays 11 to 5 and Saturdays 10 to 5. Admission is totally free.